So think of estate planning, try to keep an open mind here today. Think of estate planning as something that is a lifetime process. It's not just a transaction. And what I refer to that is the traditional way of estate planning is when people later in life, they're 80, 90, and they're saying, I need to put together an estate plan. And in that situation, they're trying to put together the last will and testament. And I call that a stack of documents. Oftentimes, it may not meet all their goals for them in a situation like that. And then they put the estate plan away for a period of time, okay? They've done legacy studies that they put the estate plan away in a lock box or under a bed or in a safety deposit box. Does anyone want to guess what period of time has gone by in that legacy study?
20 years.
Very, very close, Jennifer. Yes, 18.2 years is what the legacy study shows. 18.2 years. And that's quite a long period of time. And typically an event happens when the family's looking for that estate plan again. Does anyone want to take a wild guess what the event may have been?
Death.
Unfortunately, right? A death occurs, mom and dad pass, the spouse passes, and then the family's saying, I think we did a will years ago, let's go and search for that will. And then they find the will, the stack of documents, under the bed or in the safety deposit box. They blow the dust off it, and they said, let's see if this thing's going to work. And they see people's names in there who may not be living any longer. The kids are all grown up, and the kids might even have their own children now, and they're saying, gee, is this thing going to really work to keep our stuff out of the probate court, protect against a tax man, or protect against a nursing home? And oftentimes, the plan falls short because 18.2 years on average has gone by, and I call it the 3 L's. The 3 L's creep into that estate plan that will oftentimes necessitate changes to an estate plan and oftentimes will outdate an estate plan. The 3 L's are changes in law. How many of us have control over that? How often does Congress change the tax code? How often does Mass Health change the Mass Health laws relative to Medicaid planning? Happens all the time. So we have little to no control over changes in law, right? The second L is changes in life. That's changes in your life. I'm going to put this guy here. Changes in life are changes in your finances, changes in your relationships, changes in your health. All those things will oftentimes necessitate changes to your estate plan, okay? So think about that as you're going through this evening. An estate plan, if you truly want it to work, from our experience, an estate plan should not just be a one-time transaction, because oftentimes things will change in life, okay? So I usually do a little example with the gentleman who volunteered to sit in the front row here. What's your name, sir?
Paul.
Paul, pleased to meet you, Paul. My name is Patrick. So Paul came to me and said, Patrick, prepare a will or a trust for me. There you go, Paul.
All right.
And what is, I prepare that stack of documents for Paul. What does Paul give me in return?
Blank page is just like you gave me.
Exactly. There you go. Paul gives me, we'll say this is a check. Paul gives me a check. Thank you, Paul.
All right.
All right, pleased to meet you, sir. All right, call me if you need me, Paul, and say Paul's 50 years old. Paul leaves my office, and if it's done the traditional way, how much time has gone by before Paul and I even see each other ever again? 18.2 years. And, 18.2 years later, the 3 L's creep into Paul's estate plan. Do you think, what's wrong with the estate plan? It's outdated. Oftentimes it's outdated. It's not going to work the way Paul may want it to work. So really, really essential to, as we go through this evening's workshop, thank you, Paul, you can have your check back. Think of estate planning more as a process rather than a transaction or an event.